The Carolina Panthers make it interesting. They go out and they hire former Indianapolis Colts head coach Frank Reich. Interesting stint with the Colts. We all know how well he was praised for the Super Bowl, helping orchestrate that offense, versus a very good Patriots defense. And, just in general, Frank Reich has such a pretty high pedigree around the NFL. So, you go back to the days he started with the Colts. He was expecting Andrew Luck to be the guy. Andrew Luck suddenly retires, and you have Phillip Rivers, and you have Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, and you have like 4 or 5 different guys this year. Frank Reich has not had an easy path. But the Panthers think that they can lead him on the right path, that Frank Reich is the guy for them. If you enjoy Colts content, NFL content, make sure you like, subscribe, put that post notification bell on, because this is a place for you. I promise. You won't be disappointed. Best place. So, Frank Reich, right, man? He has a lot of great characteristics. He's very classy. And, he likes to run the ball. He's a bit of an old-fashioned coach in a few ways. He does bring some good new school. Like, he's very good with the passing game. He can get very creative. Issue is, Frank Reich gets into his own head. He outthinks himself. I love Frank Reich as a person. As a coach, no. And the number one reason is Frank Reich-led teams always came out short. They always came out making these small little mistakes. And that's ultimately the reason why his team consistently struggled against the best teams in the NFL. Because when you make those little mistakes, y'all add up. And, his slow starts is another thing. Colts have had a lot of very slow starts. Now, you could blame that on having a new quarterback every year. That's a viable excuse. At the end of the day, you get tired of the same old stuff with him. And it's not going to take long for Carolina Panthers, for the organization, for the fans to realize that Frank Reich, he's a great human being. I'm not questioning who he is, his character. I'm not questioning that he can be creative and he could be a very good coach. It's just that's very far in between. It's not as consistent as you need it to be. There are games where he calls amazing games. Amazing games. If he could call like that all the time, he would still be the Colts head coach. The Colts might have made the playoffs last year. The Colts might have beaten the Bills. That wasn't really Reich's fault in the playoffs. Wild card, the year after Andrew, all that. No, actually, it's 2 years after because we had Jacoby. But Frank Reich's system, he's good to adjusting. He could adjust. It's just, having a new quarterback every year, that definitely takes a toll on you mentally and just, in the way you coach the game. It's not easy to plug a new quarterback into a new system every year. It's not easy to plug a new quarterback into a system no matter what. Even if the quarterback knows the game for so long, you still got to learn new language. You got to tailor your playbook, your play calling towards him. Because that's the guy. That's the facilitator. That's how your offense works. The damn quarterback. Pretty important position. So having a new one every year definitely makes it a lot more difficult on Frank Reich. And, I'm not going to bash on him too much. Because he did some good things. And maybe you could look at the fact that the Colts general manager, Chris Ballard, didn't provide him with enough. Maybe not providing him with enough. He tries to be unpredictable. Tries to not let teams just stop what they do best. There's a lot of different thoughts, scenarios, and just different ways to think of it. In the sense of having a new quarterback every year. Did the general manager not give him enough talent? Were the players just inconsistent? Is the general manager stingy? Were the Colts too quick to react? There is so many different avenues to go down to talk about why Frank Reich didn't proceed, didn't become the coach that the Colts expected him to. Now, I wish him the best luck in Carolina. Hope he does well. I don't think he's going to. It's another bad situation with quarterbacks. You have a new quarterback every year. You have like 3 different quarterbacks that you traded for. Not Mayfield anymore. He was traded to the Rams. Sam Darnold. Maybe he could do something with Sam Darnold. But at the end of the day, he wants his guy. Is he gonna get it this year? Probably not. Is he gonna get it next year? Maybe, maybe not. I could see them signing Nick Foles. Maybe keeping on Sam Darnold for another year. I could see him, just because of the Frank Reich factor with Nick Foles, man. But my thing is, it's just Frank Reich is not the guy. He can't consistently bring a team to a winning formula versus great teams. You keep making those small mistakes. You keep doing that little stuff over and over again. You get tired of it. And that was Frank Reich's problem. So, Carolina has a very great character. They have a great human being as head coach. But do they have a guy that can lead them on the field, not just in the locker room, on the field to beating the best teams in the NFL? Because that's what you got to do. And all in all, you're not just looking for a rebuilding head coach. You're looking for a head coach who can build a championship culture from the ground up, not just rebuild and then restart and bring a new guy in and have to build the whole foundation again. No. Frank Reich is not that guy. He's not that guy. And, you could go on and talk about all the scenarios. And they're valid. Some of them are valid, but there comes a point in time where, 5 years down the road, you have to speak up and say, let's go get our guy. Let's go get aggressive. Sometimes you have to speak up to Chris Ballard. He never did that. Frank Reich is the type of guy to, when the fight breaks out, he's the type of guy to sit in the back and be like, wow. That's kind of how the Colts were going to go. So, you guys let me know what you think. Is Frank Reich going to succeed over in Carolina? Is he going to get a real chance with a quarterback that he can develop on his own? And if he does, will he get it figured out? Because even back to when he had Andrew Luck, in the Houston game and a few games, he just did things that didn't make sense. When you played Kansas City, you had a very good rushing attack that year. Very consistent, and that was your key. They just didn't do it consistently enough to get it done. So, Frank Reich isn't going to last very long. Maybe a year and a half.